Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Kevin Moore Show. Now on today's show, I'm about to be joined with my guest, Johana. Now Johana began her journey at the age of 10, communicating with spirit and channeling energy to heal others. Johana speaks a language that few can understand, but is universal to all. Now Johana is a multi-intuitive shamanic healer, and she connects directly with spirit and your higher self to identify the blocks and barriers that impede your soul's growth, which stand in the way of a joyful, purposeful life. Now, she facilitates spiritual growth, past life and karmic clearing, therapeutic touch, energy healing, and also teaches you how to connect to your physical body using breathing and movement techniques to harmonize your vibrations and maintain stability within your energetic field. Now, this was taped on location in Chicago, so enjoy my interview with Johana. Well, Johana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on, and especially someone that's doing the healing work and the channeling at the same time. That's always fascinating. I do think, though, just thinking about me saying that statement, that, you know, the channeling work that I've come across is healing for people.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that. So who is it? What is it you channel?
So when I'm asked that question, I always want to think that my heart has this opening thingies, coming out, and I'm just sort of allowing the love to come in from perhaps the universe or just spirits that assist us here on this earth. And we just have that ability to connect with them. And if we don't connect that way, we have dreams. And that's the same thing. It's just a different channel.
So no names?
I have connected with Hermes Trismegistus, and he was Greek. And he was a reincarnation of the Egyptian god, Thoth. I know my English won't work that way.
Thor, is that Thor?
The word, yeah. And I just really didn't know anything about him or his spirit or his life. And so that's been fascinating to me. I somewhat felt really good to me because he felt like a father energy to me. And I felt really safe. And in my heart, I just said to his spirit that if there was anything that he could help me with my path of the heart, that I will definitely be open to it. And once I open that, then my eyes are my strength. Then my visions went exploded.
And as I call it he, she, it. Mm-hmm. Has that always been the same energy, the same group that you've brought through? Yes,
pretty much. It is a different sensation when it's a he or a she energy, a female or male energy. We all have that in within. We have our female energy, our male energy, and I call that the interrelationship within ourselves. And for me, when I was born, I had more male energy than female energy. So part of my purpose has been to learn my female energy, which is sort of allowing to sit and understand that power of knowledge. My male energy has always been the physical part of me, so I was an athlete and, just go, which is great too. It's just learning the balance of two. So I recognize the male energy right away.
So it's a male energy, that's what you're feeling that comes through?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like a male physically. It's just, I think it's the frequency or for me, a father energy, I lost my dad when I was 18. And part of my journey has been to learn how to bring my own male energy to understand my father energy. So I will grow and grieve and do all I have to do for myself. And so that's how I recognize the father energy. And I think if I do, it's not very hard for me to allow it.
No, right. Absolutely.
It's comforting.
Okay, and if I was just going to get to the point here is, what do you do with that energy as well? How is that helping people when you bring that through? How would you explain that to people, what you do?
Well, he put the green emeralds together in that time of the Egyptian, and he is very well. First of all, he's a phenomenal philosopher, and I love philosophy, and I love poetry and anything that inspires me artistically. And he is an artist because he's an alchemist. And when I was a kid, I realized that I had that alchemist energy, that I can move things, that I can move energy and move emotions, things in the body. And so that was all kind of connected to it. So that was very attractive to me. And what he helped me to help others is to understand the structure of the body and the distance between our bones, the tissues and things like that, and how is that we are put together so I can help people in that state to realign them. So once releasing the emotional trauma, the body can go back and realign itself because the body has the ability for healing, but because we have a combination of all, the mental, the emotion, it's just really just bringing, it's like click, 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 and you just bring all that together. And he helped me to do that because the way he showed me, or the spirit showed me, was more artistically, more drawings and geometry, physics and things like that. And I'm not very good at math. Like I need a calculator, but
me too.
I love the physics and anything dimensionally speaking, I was really drawn to it.
So what sort of issues do clients come to you with normally?
Well, different ones. I would say when I meet them, I always, one of the things that I try with them is to perhaps, I don't say the word issue very much. I always say, what's your story? Because in the shamanic, we learn that we are storytellers. And when we are brought up in that space of, I can actually share my story, I can actually be vulnerable right now and go into it, then they're able to go deeply with that themselves. And it's interesting because I always say, hey, you may come over here to say, Johana, can you help me with my toes and my ears, da-da-da. And then at the end of the session, it had nothing to do with that. It was something else.
Well, how does a normal session go? So, for example, I've got a back issue, right?
Okay.
And what would the sort of process be in a sense?
So, for example, I will go in your back. I use my hands. And I have different mechanisms, I believe, I guess, because I can move my joints and stuff, that will allow me to locate the pocket. And by the way, I use a lot of like kids' TV shows where it's...
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so the pockets of energy, and then I use my other hand to move it enough that I can go underneath. And I always say, hey, let me just bring that aspects and see if there's anything that we can collaborate to see why is this back so compressed. And usually I will go into the heart area, which is there's a frequency that goes between the heart and the stomach, which when the heart gets conditioned creates more vessels, and when the vessels there's more oxygen, and we were not breathing because of trauma or anxiety or things like that, it goes straight to our stomachs, and then it messes up our digestive and stuff like that. That immediately is going to compress towards the back, and now our posture is going to go bad and this and that. So when I go and I'm already on a soul level, I can go back and really connect with your story. So that, putting all that together, then I can go into the womb. I'll travel the tunnel, shamanically speaking, back into that soul before they came out of the world. And that's when I start the process, when they're born, first when they enter the atmosphere, when they choose their parents, why they choose their parents, this and that. And then with that, it immediately starts to release because, It's almost like I feel like my hands can it's like a magnet. I don't pull it if the body naturally doesn't let me, because like once again, you have to be mindful of that. You can't just push it. You have to listen.
So that's fascinating. So whatever issues someone's got, it relates to a trauma sometimes. It relates to, the soul's lineage. What's the soul here to learn maybe, or what's it brought in from a past life? Whatever it is you're picking up on, you're pulling in and you're healing. Do you actually understand the process sometimes, or are you just go along with it knowing that this is really going to help the person and you're kind of guided what to do?
Yeah, sometimes I don't understand it. I don't have to understand it. It's very natural to me because, an alchemist energy, it's really converting and shifting, and, it's like threading. It's like mending. Excuse me. It's transferring. I feel that it's crafting. And so I always tell people, think of, those indigenous that make those beautiful blankets. They have to. They're so intricate, but then how do they do that? This little thread.
It's clever, isn't it?
That's kind of how it goes for me.
So where does the channeling fit into that process? Where does that which you channel come into that healing process?
For example, once I'm able to see the blueprint of everyone, and I don't always see everything, it's just what's appropriate for the person. My ego is not that big to want to find things. I'm mindful with the person's higher self that they are ready for something. I don't want to force it. I don't want to do anything like that. I always said, hey, we're here to create community. And then, maybe in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks or 2 months, it'll naturally come up because now we poked it enough, but it wasn't ready yet. So, and it's that process, because the whole point of, for me is that person feels that same empower, that same ability that somewhat I connected with. So.
But that which you channel are you part of the team for that? Do you think are they your team?
Yeah.
So on your team, do you think you're connecting with other energies which are energies of healers maybe on the other side?
Yes. Well, many. Right. Because
and the person's guides as well.
And and sometimes people, their grandmothers or their parents or brothers, sisters, or friends, sometimes even like high school friends that they don't remember they went to come up and help them. Because, sometimes you may just have gone through something in 5th grade and you just don't know. Maybe that's your back situation you're having. Maybe there's someone, somebody stabbed you in the back. Somebody was picking on you in the back. Somebody was talking behind your back when you're in 5th grade or 6th, or 2nd grade. And so I'm able to go to the story and pull that from there so we can talk about it. And that's where the healing starts. It's the collaboration of going back to the scene a little bit. But now you're not going alone. That's the difference. We have all this collaboration. And so like Hermes, I connect with Shakina. She's a beautiful energy. And she is seductive. And yet she's dark. But she's so smart and powerful. And so she's mathematic. I don't know math very well. I love history and all kinds of things, but math was there. But when I'm with that information, I can actually understand math, which is
incredible.
Awesome.
And also when you're giving the healing to the clients, do they deliver messages sometimes through you? Is there a message sometimes for people that they...
Yes. So, we talk about past lives and things like that. I don't bring them all the time, but through this assistance that I have, I'm able to go into the past lives a little bit, and somewhat a little bit of the background. It helps the person understand even a little bit more. It's like pulling from different information.
Again, fascinating. And do you feel that those past lives might be happening now? I mean, are they past, or are they all happening simultaneously?
Right. Well, we have this spiral. One of the things that I learned in hermetics, with that concept is that we're all spirals, right? It's that's what people talk about, the snake being a transformational thing, because it's that you travel through that spiral, and as we go so many times and we're so dimensional, then we're able to watch ourselves. We allowed ourselves to go there. You can watch yourself in the stories, yet as we grow and evolve, we're not necessarily see ourselves the same, right? Maybe once again, because we have that child energy, then we may see ourselves as in the time of, I don't know, the Egyptians or the, I don't know, cavemans or something. And that kind of connects the dots, right? Because, I mean, you wonder, is it, you may have someone who was from a different era, right, and maybe you're a particle of that. Maybe your ancestors. For me, because I not only go into those spaces, but I, in the shaman, I love that. It's so earthy. I love that energy. And, I feel like a grandmother already. And so I feel all these grandmothers that have lived through centuries and sat with the people and smoked the pipe and have all these wonderful things. I also go there with them. It's very powerful. There's a lot of knowledge there. So that's where I learn my direction. I go in through the earth and find the nurturing, like the west and the north, and how it all collaborates.
So people, you don't get people coming to you for readings as such, as in, where am I at with my life right now, or what's the future hold for me? It's more of, you found that your work is more specialized or more into healing in a sense.
Pretty much, yeah. And I always said, I don't know, how would I read you? Because I always said, I probably won't wear my glasses when I'm in the session. I always try to. And I just said, I can't read you. I'm just always very honest. And then I always say, I don't really go into the future. I can shift you in the possibilities of the journey, being adding to that, and give you a mile of that light. But it's teaching them to trust themselves through that mile, that it's already light up for them. Because I always say, why would you want to see the whole thing? That'd be boring.
Absolutely, it would be.
You see? And so, and then I explain, I don't bring your psychic either. I don't go into psychic very much, because we all already psychics anyway. So I said, why would I want to show you something that you already have? And, but if I bring it, I'll let you know so we can have a little fun with it. I said, but
do you think that most of the body issues that people come with are symbolic of what they're resisting within them, or this, it's a side effect of your fate? Like, for example, if I've got an eye issue, right, am I not wanting to see life the way it is in its most basic way?
Yes, it is connected with what we are resisting. Yes, but at the same time, it is what we actually want so much that we are resisting it. Wow. And so I teach a lot of people to go into polarity. I always said, why, polarity is, it's here. Let's just go. We need the upstairs to go downstairs. That's just how it is. We really need both. And so really, as we need fear, as we need compassion, as we need all the components of it, there's always a component of healing in each of those energies we go to. And once we allowed ourselves to explore into those emotions, we understand the connection through our own humanity, which brings us back to be present and be acceptant of others, whether they're resistant or not. That would be only polarity.
Yeah, absolutely. Now with your work as well, do you think you've always had this gift of being able to heal people?
Yes. As I gotten older, of course, I've come into my own, like my grandma would say. My grandma said, you always have to be your own. You don't, my grandma said, do not follow the herd. You always have to go the other way. And that's the challenge, someone like me to always stay my own and not be influenced by identity. And I guess that's why I don't have a website yet and things like
well,
that.
no, I
It's
mean,
always
you're pretty much off the radar, actually. We're
I
going
know,
to get
word of mouth.
Right. I mean, you're all over the US, but we're going to get to your contact details. Well, actually, they've been coming up on the screen as well as we've been doing this interview. But yeah, you haven't gone out there and really pushed yourself. And why is that, do you think? Why that? Because people have found you, haven't they? You've not needed to go out there and sort of advertise yourself.
I think for me is, you know, at some point I might have come across to, you know, there's just a little bit of fear. There's a little bit of being scared of exposure to a degree. You know, I have children and things like that. I don't want to really, I don't know, really. I've come in different parts of my life in which even doing it by myself with my friends or something like that, there's always a little bit of that, right?
But you're here today, though, on
I
camera.
know, right? I'm like just diving in.
Just diving in with
saying yes to life.
You must be ready now.
You know, I am.
Maybe you wasn't ready before.
I always, you know, when I'm in my prayer state, I think 24 hours a day. But when I'm really in that place, I have to say to you, I always have to say, really, God, really? I'm just so excited.
That's a great place to be.
I know, it's a great place to be. And I feel so much love inside me. You know, it's really hard to explain. And I love Valentine's and things like that. But I want to I want to think love as it's like a magical, you know, it's like, it's enchanting. It's just really...
Is it the core of what we are?
It is the core, really, yeah. I think the soul is... It is. Yeah. It is the dance that we allow the soul to go to. And as long as we go two to the right, two to the left, I think we're just practicing in that as well.
Why do you think we come here, then, to have this human experience?
You know, I think we're like extremely intricate wiggles. You know, like I think if I think of us, like if I'm in the universe and I'm saying, God, I kind of want to go there. And God will say to me, well, why would you want to go there? And he says, well, but look at these wiggles. That I kind of want to see what wiggling like that feels like. And God says to me, well, you know, those wiggles are really little. When you enter those wiggles, which is our physical bodies, it's going to be a little uncomfortable. And we as souls are so willing, like we don't, you know, we just know, that's the knowing, that why not? And so we are here, bloop, now we're in these things. We're like 12 feet tall, right. You know, we're like, oh.
So just so I've got this right, when you see someone with a health issue, do you kind of see through their body into their body in a sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because when I do the spiritual surgeries, you know, I do, you know, I can feel it. And so I do feel the body, like my body also feels the body of the person. So I can feel when that's coming up. So I have to release it when I'm doing that. So, you know, my eyes water sometimes because it's a lot when I have to go deeper. So I do have to, you know, I feel everything.
Feel everything,
and I can see it. I can see the structure or something, texture. Yeah.
That's incredible. So, do people?
I can taste it.
Yeah, you can taste as
so
well.
So if I say,
Wow.
"Excuse me," I'll say, "Were you smoking yesterday?" And they're like, "No." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you were." You know, I would know exactly. And because their higher self is saying, yeah.
Oh, and you think that you feel as well that their higher self comes through as well sometimes.
Oh, they have, you know, we collaborate. Yeah. It's only what's for their best potential for themselves. So in that moment, it's really about them. Yes. And what's, you know, the best for them. I'm just kind of at service.
Do they only need one sort of visit most times, most people?
Well, the first visit is just the deep, you know, the hardest one, I think, just because it's almost like everything just comes up, like everything's just being wanted to come up. And I always know right away because I always think that if you come to my session, that's what it's going to be. And I always say it's going to be deep today. And when I usually do a surgery the first day, which is creating the space, so everything else that is being suppressed starts to kind of come up, and they can naturally start coming. So they'll have 2-3 days of they have to rest and drink a lot of water and things like that.
Well, this is very fascinating that, again, I'll say, you're a channel and you're a healer as well. Now, is there any times when you just channel only rather than just do the healing?
I don't. I did probably like 5 years ago just for myself. And I did learn how to do it. I actually had someone to help me about 5 years ago. And I did it through meditation. And I was able to understand how to push my vocals. You have to push the vocals down and allow that voice to come in. But I just didn't want to talk like a man, to be honest. And then my throat is so sore. I'm thinking, oh my God, I took French for a year, and it was kind of, I want to go back and take French. It became some of a choice, a personal choice to really, asking these spirits to just so grateful that I'm able to do it. But that's not the form that I want to bring it for my sessions.
What form of channeling is this that you're doing now? Because I think there's various forms of channeling as well.
And I think that's why it came down to not only channeling like that, like other people, like those people I was telling you about. I just love them so much. They're fascinating. And I get so excited for them.
Which are some of your favorite channels?
Lee Harris.
Oh, yes.
I love him. Yes, actually, he's my favorite. He's the only one I see in person.
If he hears this, I'm sure he's a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy, and he judges people by their energy. So
he's
I'm
amazing.
Sure he would say you've got a lovely energy.
Yeah, and I always get excited and very inspired, and I can't wait to see him again. But yeah, so I really admire those people.
But is this a form of channeling? I think it is. That's what I'm saying.
It is.
This is a form. Channeling comes in many forms.
Absolutely.
And many flavors.
A lot of forms, and we have so many frequencies. You have to remember.
That's it. If I was to say to you, then, what is channeling to you?
For me, channeling is allowing those frequencies to open for that assistance that it's so much more than our bodies to integrate in a way that if we get out of the way, and we are not in our egos, it goes straight to that healing component that can really be utilized to help people. I would say to assist them, and to share the gift of freedom. I'm very much about freeing yourself from those belief systems, yet understanding that through that process, we still live in a world of polarity. We still among belief systems. And how can we navigate that and be comfortable without judging it or anything, So it's really just empowering yourself to understand that on a different level and be with everyone.
How has your family taken your work as well? Because what was you also up to prior to doing this?
So I've done so many things. In Guatemala, I think it was just kind of, when I was a kid, my mom used to say, "Oh, are you watching too much TV?" Or I'd be like, "No." And she used to say, "Nana, you always look like you're so spaced out." And I'm thinking, oh yeah, because the Earth is so small compared to the universe. I want to be there more often. As I got older, I just don't have the same friends that I used to have, and I'm totally fine with that. For me, it's just really the knowing that I just know that's home. And I always hope that my friends or my old friends will stay with me, or other relationships, or to share that journey. But not everyone is ready to go there. And I've always felt that if I just allow it to, I let them be, then someday I'll be in the gates of angels and go, "Hey, here guys, come on over. I'm so glad you're here." And I want to think that I am that person that that I can just go first and that's okay. But they're coming. Everybody is in their own time, in their own way. And I think that's the beauty of that healing component. And a lot of the information that I'm channeling too is just helps me to understand that. But I do not have the same relationships, and so, because it's just not being able to follow the herd. Not everyone is comfortable with that. You just have to be your own. And so my friends, I have amazing friends that they support me and they get me, kind of thing. They just love me that way, and it's a mutual understanding. I have children, and they're in the environment, so I can speak anywhere. I can just be myself, and they are okay with that too. Sometimes I said,
cool.
we don't know what you're saying, Mom.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And I'm a single mom, so I really we have a great family. It's just it's been an amazing ride, I would say. And I continue meeting wonderful people, like yourselves all here. It's just amazing.
No, thank you. So, where would you like to take your work? Is there something you'd like to do with the work, or are you very happy with where you're at right now as well?
Well, I'm content. I think I just kind of go with the journey. I just kind of go with the flow. Yet, my intention it's always to expand. I don't have a specific agenda, but I always have a prayer, or I always imagine, right? And I love kids, and I mean, I love working with everybody, but I always thought, I want to have a kids foundation, but I don't know, would I be able to run the foundation? Or I want to go to places. And so I see myself going out there and traveling, doing healing. I still have a young child. I have 3 boys, and so what I ask God is, hey, listen, just put me where I need to be, because I trust that that's divine time for me.
And this work's always provided for you?
Always.
That's beautiful.
I never worry about anything. I never worry, and I've been in really bad situations before, but I always have to be reminded that if God put me in this place, it's because He's watching over, and as long as I stay in service, then I will be taken care of with my boys.
Do you find that the clients that come to you, it's that's your teaching as well? You're getting something not just from healing them, but there's something more going on. When you meet these people,
right?
You're taking some teachings away.
Yeah, I hug them because I like that, and I always thank them for letting me love them, because I feel like that's what I'm doing. And I always said, hey, when you go home today, you let your family love you. You let your friends, you let, that person love you. And just like you're letting me love you here, I always say that. And it really changes how they see life, because if it's possible, in just one little room, why not take it to the next level?
That's beautiful. What would you say is an important message of the work that you're doing right now?
The message is, if we can allow ourselves to explore the possibilities within, and really just, if you close your eyes, right, you can see so much more, and you can feel so much more, that when you open your eyes, you realize that your lens has magnified. And once you do that, that means your peripheral vision has opened, which means now you're really hugging everyone. You're really bringing and not hovering, but just hugging everyone. And I would say, just give yourself a chance. Just really, it's kind of going in a stream of water. If there's a log right across the stream of water, if you hop in it, it's because maybe you need to take a break, or you need to be aware of something. But always remember that if you turn around again, you can always hop back in that stream of water. you see, and then just keep going. And if we can just do that, then those things that feel so big, they're blocks, right? We call blocks. We only be a place in which we're just pausing for a minute, but we can always get back.
And how can people get in contact with yourself? There's an email address?
Yes, I do have an email, by the way. Not a website. My son's working on it. But that would be johanahealing@gmail.com.
And do you know what the domain will be for the website?
But it would probably be the same, like Johana Healing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll put that in the description of the video in the future as well. So it's down there in the description when we do get that up and running, which is not going to be long now. Listen, Johana, thank you so much for what you're doing. This has been one of my quicker interviews right now because of time constraints.
I know, right? But hey, this was a great dance.
This was, and I really love what you're doing. And thank you for all the healing and love that you're sharing with
Thank
people.
you so much. I just love it. Thanks for doing what you do. Appreciate it.